Hey, this is WhyBeAre with BeamNG.drive, and today we're going to be taking a look at a map called Russian Roads. We have a few different options as to where to start, but we're going to keep it simple and start at the default location. And this map kind of starts you in a funny location because if you just try to drive forward, you're most likely going to get stuck on the curb just like that. What you actually have to do is you have to back out of here and then go forward like a normal human being. Don't just hop in the curb like a maniac. And then you could actually drive on the regular roads. And you see that building? That is our destination. So we're going to go to the building like a normal human being, which means accelerate until you get there and then you stop. Then you realize, wait a minute, this isn't Bobby's house. So you try to back out of there and go to the correct location if your vehicle can steer enough. And I do believe the building we just crashed into is actually a unique building for this map, where the other ones around here, those are the same ones I've seen in other maps. Now directly ahead of us, yes, that is where Bobby lives. So we go full speed into that and completely ruin my truck. So let's go ahead and reset it back where we started. And then we're going to back out of here a little bit, but we're not going to back up as much as last time because I have a truck. And what's the point of having a truck if you can't hop a curb every now and then? And this map does have a good variety of terrains. Like right there, you got the bumps and the pothole, and it's pretty bumpy. But then you have sections like this where it's pretty smooth, and you don't really need to worry about anything at all. You could drive a stance car through there, no problem. In fact, you could probably drive a stance car through this whole map. But there are some sections where you're going to have to do a little bit of avoidance to make sure you don't get stuck. We got another bump right there. Don't slow down at all because we have a pickup truck. It's not going to damage the suspension. It might damage my spine if I was actually in the truck, but, well, this is a video game. I'm not in the truck, so I don't have to worry about my spine at all. Oh, got the back of the truck jiggling a little bit. I think I'm trying to drive this thing like a sports car where it's obviously not a sports car. So let's go ahead and replace the truck with something a little bit more sporty. And the direction I plan to go is this way, so we'll park it right there. We'll pull up the vehicle selector, and let's go with a Bruckle Moonhawk. Not exactly the sportiest of cars, but if we get something like the race edition, it can go pretty fast. And it has a pretty stiff suspension with minimal ground clearance, which should be fun on a road like this where it's really, really bumpy. So at this intersection, we'll go ahead and go to the left, hit that bump. You see the back end bouncing up. That is promising. Looks like we got a little bit of a bump right there. No big concern for this car. Pothole. Ooh, pothole. You saw it dip, but it didn't affect the car at all. But you gotta make sure the suspension knows it has a job to do. It's gotta keep me smooth through those dips in the road like that. And whoa, it's over here. We got gas station and then a hangar or garage, whatever you want to call it. I guess if you wanted to, you could also call the gas station a petrol station. But that is the most un-American thing I've heard all day if you start doing that. And that looked a little bit damaging to the car. It looked like you could have just ripped out the whole rear axle, which does sometimes happen from crashes like that. But it looks like we're okay. We keep going. So another side road over here. We'll see where this thing goes. So we got a building to the left and then another building straight ahead of us. We're going to go to the building to the left because there's something funny about this. Like so far it seems like we're on a pretty defined road, right? Well, that changes right here. This is not a defined road. I'm in a race car. What am I doing in the grass? Get out of here. So back onto there. Then we can go across that to get into the farm. At least that's what it looks like to me. It looks like a field of a farm. And then if you try to drive through here, it's going to wreck your car up, as you're seeing right here. Like we're stuck already. So with a race car, not the direction you want to go. So we're going to pull this thing out of here and go back to the road. And the dirt road still isn't exactly what you would want a race car on. But we'll get to the paved road soon enough. And then again, even that paved road isn't exactly what you would want this car on because it is so bumpy. That makes it fun to drive on. And you could have driven through the farm and eventually gotten here if you jumped the river as well. But this car is not the kind of car you'd want to do that with. Like double potholes go right over that. And there's sections on this road you'll see where there's kind of like dirt going onto the road. When you see that, usually there's kind of like a path. Like this isn't really a super well-defined path, but you can tell there's less grass here than the areas around. So it's just a path that gets you to a beach, and then you can do donuts on the beach or whatever you want. And then when you're done with that, you can go back up the path, or you could make your own if you had a car that had more off-road capabilities than this. But with this, yeah, we're gonna stick to the path because that's the smart thing to do. It's like we were actually able to do that with, as far as I can tell, no damage to the suspension. That's great. Although, I see all these potholes. I wonder if they'll ever eventually actually damage the car. So far, they haven't. But there's a good variety of, like, textures to this road. Like, you look at the road, and it's not just a road. It has all these different looks to it. You got the potholes, then you got parts where it's like it's obviously been repaved like that. You got all these bumps and stuff to it. And there's another one that you can drive through. We're actually going to come at that from a different angle. And there's a very specific reason as to why. Over here we have some more texture to the road. Looks like water kind of just drains into this section and then drains into the river, which looks pretty cool. And apparently I got so little traction, my car wants to go into the water. No, you can't do that, car. You got to stay on the road. And again, we're going to have another section right here where it's like, oh, look, here's a shortcut. And it's really obvious when you look at this from above what's going on with this shortcut. So from above, you can see it's like, well, the Russians here, and I say that because it's called Russian roads, they're like, well, I'm not going to drive through this crazy curvy road. They just take a straight path straight through with their somewhat off-road capable vehicles. Like, I'm pretty sure I could do this with my car, but you know what? I'm going to stick to the paved roads right now, and then we're going to do that a little bit later from the other direction, because the other direction's more fun. Downhill is more fun than uphill, and you'll see why in a little bit. And, whoa, just got to keep this thing on the road. These roads are bumpy, man. Before you know it, you're bouncing all over the place, half on the road, half off the road. You got to be careful. So there we go. Nice and controlled, slowing it down. Come on, come on. Steering harder, steering harder. There you go. That's a good car. For a second, I didn't think it would make it, but it proved me wrong. So right here, this is the top. We can keep going along the road, or we can have a little bit of fun. So I'm going to go ahead and just save this spot because I don't know if this car will actually work for the fun. And then we're going to go straight ahead and see what happens here. Oh, the suspension is really not liking this, but we can make it. We can make it. This looks awful, but it's making it. And then hit the jump, get enough speed for this. Come on, yeah! Oh, but there's fire in the car, and we ain't going, well, we can kind of go, but it's not worth the trouble. But basically, though, you have a jump, and then you land over here, and then you have this section where you can tell, like, cars have actually driven on it that'll eventually get you to that piece of dirt right there that I mentioned earlier. So it all eventually meets up together. And as for the car that's on fire, guess we'll bring it back up. Then we get it back up here, and we got to do a quick 180 because we're pointed at the jump. We want to continue along the road. And just like that, we're already up to 45, 50, and 60 miles per hour, which is probably as fast as you want to go through here because the road is so bumpy. It's very easy just to lose control from a bump, just like that, kind of. When you see the car starting to bounce and slide, and that's how you crash and die at low speeds. So just making sure we keep it a little calm. And then right here we have another place where it looks like there's an alternative path, and we're going to take it. This is a much more violent one than the other one, though, where we bounce the car about and, well, light it on fire as well. So that car's not going anywhere. We'll bring it back up to about here. So it's the road we bounced on earlier, and then we'll continue along this road like a normal person instead of doing another jump or something. And yes, a normal person does drive in the middle of the road when there's no traffic. That is totally normal. Okay, no, it's not, but you know what? In video games, it is. So right here, we're going to go on this dirt road. Now, this is not the car you'd usually want to take on a dirt road, but I think it'll make it. And I want to try it out. Because normally here, you'd want a car with maybe some all-wheel drive, a little bit more ground clearance, and a more forgiving suspension. We got a rear-wheel drive car with a stiff suspension and minimal ground clearance. But you know what? It's pulling through. I'm going to let it go all the way. Unless it gets stuck and it can no longer make it, we're going to stick with this car. And then after we get through this off-road area, I think it'll be about time for a new car, though, because we have been driving this for so long. Oh, no. That's not getting stuck, though. That's just flipping over because they're driving too aggressively. So we just get a fresh one and keep on going, because I think it can make it all the way. It is not easy to control. I'll say that now, as you see me just sliding all over the place. Like, I went extra off-roady right there, but you know what? We're like 99% done, basically, so no point in giving up now. Just make it to the finish. And the finish is a blockade, which is kind of saying you probably shouldn't be here, but I'm here anyways because you can't tell a WhyBeAre where to go. So you kind of have to drive around the blockade. And you get to this road where, well, it's partially finished. You see a grid under it and stuff. So let's go and swap the car right here. We're going to get an Ibishu Pessima. And since we're still on dirt roads, why don't we get something that's made for driving on dirt roads like the rally version? It seems like a very practical choice. Although this dirt road is definitely smoother than when we were just driving on. This one's probably about as smooth as the paved road, to be honest with you. Didn't need this at all, but hey, overkill is fun sometimes. Like, we can go 90 miles per hour through here, which is way too fast. Slow this thing down because we got a corner right here. I'm actually surprised I stayed on the road that whole time. Sliding all over the place, but on the road. Then we got another blockade. We're going to have to either go through or around. Let's try to go through it right here. What happens? Oh, that was actually surprisingly smooth. I thought I might wreck the car a little bit, but it went through it nice and easy. So, you know, it's like something's not quite right with the draw distance right there. That's something that's reoccurred a few times. So, just a minor glitch with the map that happens. Just keep on driving and trust that the road will be there and you'll be fine. You know, if you sit there and wait, the road will probably never load in. You actually have to just drive closer to it. So over here we have yet another gas station because apparently the cars around here, they get like 0.002 miles per gallon. They got to gas up all the time. Then we gas up and then we continue along. Got two options right here. We go left or right. The roads will eventually meet up again. We're going to go to the right because there's some more interesting things on the right side versus the left. So we're going to go full speed through this section. Hopefully the car can hold up through the bumps. And then we're going to hop to the right and roll it a little bit. Come on, upright. Yeah, after all that bouncing, we still landed upright. Can we drive it at all? Yes, we can. I just held to the right there because it's a little bit of a shortcut to get into this location. So we have a little mine over here which you could dump your car into and beat it up and drive it through. Well, if it was driving, get a fresh one. Let's try to drive along the edge of the mine, see if we can hold on or not. It's kind of a tight area to be spinning around, but it's a small car. It can make it. So we'll try to just do like one loop of the area. Wheel axle broken just like that. It's a rally car. It should be able to do something like that. That wasn't too harsh. Come on, car. It's going to keep pulling, though, like the broken axle isn't even a concern for it. Doing a pretty good job getting through this thing, and think we should be able to get to the end of this without damaging the car too much. Oh, no. Having a broken wheel axle is definitely a detriment to the car's capabilities. So let's just reset it up, get a new one that has a functional wheel axle. And for some reason, water is really loud right here. I'm assuming there's some water, like, right over my shoulder that I can't see. I don't know why. I don't know why, but right here, the water is super loud. Listen. I guess it's just because there's water under there? I don't know, that's really weird. Like, there's no actual water visible, though. Anyways, continuing along. We will get out of here with this car. We're not going to beat it up again. Out of here. All right. Now we're going to go back to the main road. Seems like a good way of doing it. A little bumpy, little bumpy. Oh my goodness. How are you rolling over? Man, my cars like to roll over on this map. I guess, see, I drive so aggressively. You put me on a map with all these bumps, I'm going to roll a lot. So we got a tree in the road right here. And with this car, you're not really going to make that. Now, if we had a car with a little bit more off-road capabilities, I'm pretty sure we could go over that with minimal damage. So let's just grab an off-road version of the 8 Series real quickly and try to just climb over that thing. If you stick to the left side, it looks easier than like the right side. Like over here, it looks like the tree is a lot higher from the road. But on the left over here, I think we can climb right over that. Let's see here. Yeah! Oh, that was easy! This time, let's try to drive over it with some momentum instead of being nice and slow like actual off-roading strategy. This time we say goodbye strategy, hello speed. It's going about 50 miles per hour and not quite. Like, that doesn't look too much taller, but it is. You actually have to be a little bit off the road for that to work, so we'll just bring it back and we'll stick right on the edge of the road. There we go. Pop the tire, but that is minor inconvenience. We're going to keep on going. Now, I'm just going to floor this thing and then crash it into something, because I don't really want to be driving this car, to be honest with you. Oh my goodness. Actually, maybe I want to be, because it's hilarious how badly it bounces around because it's so top heavy. We'll stick with it for a second, see what happens. How about that? Actually, right here we have a dead end, so I might as well hit the dead end. Just like that. So it looks like, you know, there used to be a road here, but then nature said, we're taking over. So then an alternative road was made. And apparently a lot of people sort of overshoot that. Like, they're like, oh no, gotta get back to the real road. And there's dirt all over right there. So continuing along the real road, we're gonna take a little shortcut because we got an off-road vehicle and we can. That's barely a shortcut. That's more of like cutting the corner, but whatever. You know what I mean? Let's see if we can get this thing up to speed. And then crash it again. Yeah, well, debating about the crash. Let's not crash it. Whoa! Right there, that little bit vicious on my suspension. Here's another off-road area, though. We do want an off-road car for this. Makes it a little bit easier. Although that busted tire is not helping me. I feel the car going to the right. It's like, no, car. Just because you have a busted tire doesn't mean you got to give up on me like that. Keep going. If we continue along this road, we will eventually get to where we started and we will come full circle on this map. And then we got to go to the left right here, although I do kind of want to go to the right because it has a different look to it. Like you see over here on the right, all the trees have been cut down for some reason. Like that's just kind of interesting to look at. Like why were all the trees cut down? Is this deforestation happening here? Is this a logging town? Nobody told me this. I don't know. Oh goodness, I can't go left because of my broken tire. In the end, we can still get back to where we started, so it's not a concern. The other one was just a little bit shorter of a path. So pop out of there. And then if we continue through here and then go to the left, that is where we change the truck to the Moonhawk. Come on, go left! Oh no! Alright, we're gonna keep going. I don't care, this car is all damaged up. We're gonna go, and there's where we started, right there. So, that'll do it for this map. I'll give you guys a quick view from above, and until next time, this has been WhyBeAre. I'll see ya.